Hello and welcome back. In today's video, I'm here to give you my thoughts on Aasgaard and the comments made recently by him and also by the Norway manager. And I have to say, I'm not happy with the comments that has been said so far. This isn't the first time the Norway manager has come out in the press and basically tried to engineer a move for Aasgaard to leave Luton. And in today's video, I'm going to chat about this in a little bit more detail. Before I do go into those details, can we smash the like button? Also drop me a comment down below on your thoughts on the situation. Do you think Aasgaard's going to be a Luton player by the end of the summer window? And if you're new to my channel, please subscribe. I do make Luton and EFL content. It is free to do so. I'm trying to hit 5k subscribers by the end of the year. So as I said in the intro, this is the second time the Norway manager has come out and spoken about Aasgaard on the fact that he needs to be playing a lot higher up in terms of competitive leagues in order to be called up to Norway. Now, I'll read you out the quote and then I'll let you guys decide in the video comments how you feel towards these quotes. But when I read these quotes, I'm not happy. I ain't happy. And I'm gobsmacked that an international manager is coming out saying these sorts of things. Now, in the past, you do hear certain things about certain players. They do need to be playing in a certain level. They do need to have some quality in terms of being called up to the national team. I remember when Ivan Toney went to Saudi and there was a lot of question marks over he shouldn't be called up, the league's not competitive. So these are conversations that do happen. But what I'm a little bit surprised with is I don't think there's massive amount of difference between bottom end of the championship compared to the top end of League One. I don't see massive difference. And in terms of Aasgaard's overall game, I still don't think he's completely there. I still think he's got so much development to do. And also, he hasn't, destroyed a level. When he was at League One with Wigan last season, he wasn't getting these unbelievable numbers. He was doing extremely well, but he wasn't, being the best midfielder in the league. And that's the level I'm expecting him to try and get to in this upcoming season for Luton. Do I believe he's got the capabilities of doing that? Yes, of course. But he isn't the finished article. And as we saw in the second half of the championship season, there were games where he actually went missing. There were games where I didn't notice him on the pitch. Don't get me wrong, he is a good player. His passing ability, his technique, his dribbling, his football IQ, it's there. It's there to see. But he isn't complete yet. He needs to add a lot more goals and assists to his name. He does have a good shot on him as well. This is what the Norway manager said. He went, League One is too low of a level, and I find that quite funny considering that Norway haven't even qualified for a major international tournament in a long time. And also, I don't think he's in the position to, discredit League One, the quality of the division. Championship is no problem. With his development, that level is good enough. But with League One, that's where it stops. There are many leagues he can play in. He is a versatile midfielder who has good qualities, both offensively and defensively. Now, Aasgaard knew before signing for Luton, there was a massive chance that actually he might get relegated with the football club. There was a good chance that could have happened. Of course, at the time, I bet he was also thinking, I can help keep Luton up in the division. But that didn't happen, did it? So there was a massive chance Luton could have got relegated. We've also paid £3 million. And Luton financially, we're not in a position to sell. We are very well looked after financially. We've got the second sum of parachute payments coming by the Premier League. So that does come in nicely. And also, in terms of Aasgaard as well, he's just signed a long-term deal. Unless there's something in his contract that says other clubs from above can sign him on a certain fee, then Luton are not in a position to sell him on the cheap. In fact, if we are going to sell him, we want to get profit. I can't see Luton selling him for less than £5 million. You're looking at least £5 million for him. And I look at the championship clubs that are willing to pay £5 million for Aasgaard. I don't see many that are willing to do that, not in England. So you are looking abroad. You are looking at these abroad teams that actually they might risk it and pay £5 million. But right now, I don't see him leaving the football club because I don't believe there's a club out there that's going to match that fee right now. I'm also not really happy with the way Aasgaard went about his interview. He started the interview by saying, "It's hard to say, it's a difficult situation for the club. I felt I performed well in a difficult situation. Everyone is on vacation now. I'm now focusing on the game on Friday. What can I say is that the World Championship is in a year, and that is a big goal for me." So look, he's got, an objective and ambition to play at a World Cup. Of course, every professional footballer has that goal. They would love to be able to achieve that. But you knew before joining Luton that you might be back in League One. You knew that. And what I didn't like was he started that answer, whatever the question was, from the Norwegian journalist by saying, "It's hard to say." I just feel like that's the wrong way to go about it. I understand it's a tough, position to be in because you don't want to upset the Norway boss who's the one calling you up. And then at the same time, you don't want to upset Luton. But for me to start off that answer to the question with, "It's hard to say," I just don't think that's good enough in my opinion. Now, apparently the Norway manager has got previous for this. He's done this with other players before, saying that they have to leave their football club in order for him to call them up. So it basically tells us a lot about what type of character the Norway manager is. And it does come across to me that he is the problem, not the players that represent, the national team. And it is a real shame because Luton, ideally, when we signed Aasgaard, he was meant to be the future of our midfield, someone that's going to help us progress up the leagues. But now we're in League One. Look, next season, there's a good chance that he could hit unreal numbers. He could be scoring goals, getting assists, being number one on all these different stats and so on. There's a good chance that actually can happen next year. And I do believe Aasgaard in League One is one of the best midfielders, especially with the way Matt Bloomfield would like to play going forward. I do believe there's a player there that's going to do unreal things next year. But it doesn't look like he's going to be staying, does it? And it doesn't help when the national team boss is trying to engineer a move away. But at the same time with Aasgaard, if he's not willing to put 100% in a Luton shirt and have the correct attitude, then let him go. I don't want him at the football club. The last 12 months, we've had players here that I don't think have given their all, and that's because they didn't get the moves they wanted. No way we should have got relegated last year, and we did. It's one of the most embarrassing relegations in the last, I don't know how many years, but it's such an embarrassing relegation that we witnessed. Completely avoidable. And the players are massively to blame for it. I'm sick and tired of having players that don't want to be here. Get rid. If he doesn't want to be here, just get rid. But at the same time, don't lose money on him. Make sure we get the money we deserve because that's his own fault for signing for us. And he did have other interests, believe it or not, Aasgaard. Apparently Blackburn, I think Stoke as well, were interested in him. And people might go, how dare Luton try and charge that amount of money? Well, think about it. We spent about £3.5 million on him. Of course we're going to want to make profit. Why do we want to break even? That doesn't make sense, especially in our financial position. Doesn't make sense at all. And it'd be interesting to see how this actually develops going forward. But right now, I don't know if we're going to see Aasgaard again in a Luton shirt. But I don't want someone who doesn't want to be here. So I let the correct people in charge deal with this. And hopefully we get a proper outcome very soon. But I do find it absolutely ridiculous that a manager is coming out saying, "I'm not going to pick you if you carry on playing League One football." I find that an absolute joke. But those are my thoughts on the situation. Let me know what you think down in the video comments. Don't forget to drop a like on today's video. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe. I do make Luton and EFL content. Don't forget to follow me across all my social media. And I'll see you guys in the next video.